So how does the US get away with running persistent deficits? Well, this is a hotly debated question in macroeconomics, but at least some of it has to do with how China recycles its dollars. When China exports stuff to the US, it gets lots of US dollars in return. Now, usually this would push up the value of China's currency, the yuan, via exactly the mechanism we just described, and ultimately balance China's trade account. But China likes having a devalued currency because it keeps its exports competitive. Devaluing your currency is way easier than overvaluing it. China just gets its central bank to effectively print more yuan and then use those to buy dollars on exchange markets, strengthening the dollar and therefore weakening the yuan. Nonetheless, this still leaves China with a massive pile of dollars, which China uses to buy US government debt in the form of treasuries. Today, China holds some $800 billion worth of treasuries, making them the largest foreign holder of US government debt after only Japan. While this is less than the $1.3 trillion or so China had in the early 2010s, this figure probably understates the true value of China's treasury holdings because, partly in reaction to pressure from Chinese nationalists who don't like the idea of China lending to the US, China has recently shifted its treasury holdings off its official books onto state-adjacent entities instead. China has also started buying other forms of US debt, like mortgage-backed securities from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which is sort of indirectly US government debt, because both agencies are backed by the federal government. So why is China lending the US government billions of dollars? Well, it's in part because treasuries are the world's reserve debt instrument. There are tons of them floating about, which means they're easy to sell, even in a crisis, and they pay a nice interest rate. But it's also because it strengthened the dollar and allowed the US government to spend more, essentially propping up American demand for Chinese goods, perpetuating America's trade deficit and making America more and more dependent on Chinese manufacturing. This has created a sort of mutual interdependence between America and China, sometimes nicknamed Chimerica.